Tonight, word of a major oil discovery in Nevada could mean much needed jobs for our state. Details on what we're learning. Plus, is the U.S. headed for a fiscal cliff? And what is that exactly? We'll explain. And fast food chains losing business. Why patrons are choosing other options these days to feed their cravings.
This is News 3 at 11 with Gerard Ramalho.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. We're starting tonight with what potentially could be very big news for our state. A company out of Ireland has been drilling in a valley near Tonopah for some time, and they've reportedly discovered what could turn out to be the largest oil reserves in Nevada's history. News 3's Rob Munoz joins us live from our newsroom tonight. Rob, if this discovery is as big as some say it is, it could transform our economy.
Well, Gerard, the company U.S. Oil and Gas has been very reluctant about releasing any sorts of numbers, but according to an investor with the company, we are now just awaiting the flow results that will give us a better idea of just what lies under a central Nevada valley. Now, the company has been drilling in Hot Creek Valley. This valley is about an hour and a half east of Tonopah and about 4 hours north of Las Vegas, and the valley makes up part of what is known as the Chainman Shale. It's currently a hotspot of activity for oil drilling, with reserve potential still being discovered. Now, U.S. Oil and Gas operates the well Iblana 1 in the valley, which began drilling in May. The company says they currently estimate the field has 187 million barrels of the black gold waiting to be drilled. And according to our source, since testing began, several more oil companies have been quietly moving into Nevada. And since speculation of just how big the reserves might be, the company's stock has increased tenfold. And the company felt compelled to release a statement a week and a half ago saying the testing has yet to even be completed. And as we found out, that may just be near done. And if the reserves match up to the massive potential that's being speculated, it could transform central Nevada into the next North Dakota, which saw its own oil boom in 2009. And earlier, I spoke with energy reporter Jennifer Joas at her affiliate in North Dakota about how the oil discovery there transformed their state.
You know, an oil boom could come in fast, and it could bring tremendous resources to the area. It could put you on the map. It could help out the state, the economy. There are some downfalls with it and some challenges that communities have to go through, such as housing, infrastructure, maybe more crime. But the possibilities do give those communities something to hope for.
And as far as we have been told, the production rig has been taken off the well in Hot Creek Valley since Wednesday, meaning those results could be imminent. And the company, once they get the results, must file with the Security and Exchange Commission, therefore making those results public. Gerard.
All right, exciting news, Rob. We do want to caution our viewers, though we don't have any actual confirmation yet on how big a find this actually is. But this is a story, Rob, that we're going to be following very closely in the coming days. Thanks for that report. Well, today is also the day that we honor veterans who fought and sacrificed so much for our freedoms. During this morning's annual Veterans Day parade, the community came out to focus on wounded veterans and all those who are coming home after fighting abroad. As much as this day is for those who have served, some folks came to watch and see the future of our nation's military.
Seeing all these young soldiers that I've trained long ago, they're leaders now, you know, it's kind of surreal to see that we are now accepting our veterans and the leadership that they bring to America.
Organizers say today's parade is the largest parade of its kind west of the Mississippi. Millions of Americans, meantime, celebrated Veterans Day by participating in ceremonies and other parades all across the country. In Miami Beach, for example, skydivers jumped out of a plane from 2,300 feet in the air and glided down to a very excited crowd below. In Utah, not even the snow could hold off a parade there. And as you see here, President Obama paid tribute to the first by visiting Arlington's Section 60, which is dedicated to service members who died in Iraq and Afghanistan. He and the First Lady shared private exchanges with the families of the deceased. And later in the day, the president laid a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknowns and paused for a moment of silence. All right, now we will check in with Jerry Brown, who's standing by the News 3 Weather Center with a first look at our forecast. Jerry.
Well, another chilly night on tap, Gerard, maybe the chilliest of the week, but then we're warming up in a noticeable way. I think you're going to see already in the 30s down in Spring Valley, but 44 the ambient temperature. Downtown, 41 in Green Valley. We made it to 54 today, not even in the ballpark of our norm, which is 69. But on the other hand, our low of 39 didn't quite make it down to the freezing point, and there were freeze warnings in effect for our valley. 43 currently in Las Vegas. Look at this cool air. Tomorrow we warm up 4 to 5 degrees, peaking at about 59 degrees here in the valley, which isn't all that bad for a November day, despite being below normal. Of plenty of sunshine, but those clear skies will translate into some very, very chilly temperatures tonight because our winds will be diminishing. They should be light by morning. 36 for the morning low, our normal 48. Mainly clear skies tomorrow. 39, 7 a.m., 53 at noon, 55 at 5 p.m. It'll be dark, down from the afternoon high of 59. Sunset at 4:35. Complete forecast for the coming work week is up ahead. Gerard, I return it to you.
All right. Thanks, Jerry. A well-known saddle bronc rider died during competition at the annual Indian National Finals Rodeo out at South Point Arena last night. 25-year-old J.D. Jones was from Goodman, Missouri. Specific details about what happened haven't been released yet. The Indian National Finals Rodeo and South Point Arena did issue a statement today, though, about his death. It says, in part, J.D. was a favorite of the rodeo because of his passion and respect for the sport, and he died doing something he loved. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family and friends of J.D. at this difficult time. And a footnote on this story: in our earlier broadcast tonight, we erroneously showed a picture of J.D. That was not a correct photo. The picture was not of J.D., and we apologize for that mistake. 2 people were taken to the hospital today following a car crash, and one was a North Las Vegas police officer. And we have some photos from the scene. This happened out at Martin Luther King and Craig. 2 cars were involved in the crash. The officer and the driver of the other car were taken to UMC, but their injuries, we're told, were not very serious. And North Las Vegas police are still sorting out the details as to exactly what happened. We have new photos tonight of the business that was damaged badly by a fire early this morning. Clark County fire officials say it happened at the Universal Watch Company over near Tropicana and Valley View. The county fire says the fire was contained to a warehouse portion of the building, but a part of the roof did collapse. As you can see here, there was some heavy damage inside the building. About 50 firefighters were called to help get the fire under control. No word on what started it. Now to a story that has consumed Washington since the election, the so-called fiscal cliff looming at the end of the year. If Democrats and Republicans can't come together and agree on a deal, taxes are going to go up for most Americans. NBC's Mike Vaquera has more on that story.
Today, top Democrats drew a hard line. It's either higher taxes on the wealthy or the nation goes over the fiscal cliff.
If the Republicans will not agree with that, we will reach a point at the end of this year where all the tax cuts expire and we'll start over next year.
This as one influential conservative called on Republicans to give ground.
Let's have a serious debate. Don't scream and yell when one person says, you know what, it won't kill the country if we raise taxes a little bit on millionaires. Really, the Republican Party is going to fall on its sword to defend a bunch of millionaires, half of whom voted Democratic and half of whom live in Hollywood?
But House Speaker John Boehner rejects any hike in tax rates. Instead, he would raise revenues by closing loopholes in the tax code.
Raising tax rates will slow down our ability to create the jobs that everyone says they want.
Failure to agree by the end of the year would trigger a combination of deep spending cuts and expiring tax cuts. That could mean an estimated $2,000 more in taxes next year for the typical household. The jobless rate soaring to 9.1% by the end of the year, and possibly another recession. Boehner and the president were close to a deal last year, the so-called grand bargain. $4 trillion in debt reduction, including politically sensitive changes to Social Security and Medicare. Many think that blueprint still works.
And the real problem is uncontrolled entitlement spending and a government that has grown massively, not just under this administration, under Republican administration.
Experts warn of serious damage to the economy if the standoff drags on.
If 3 or 4 weeks from now they're making no progress at all, you're going to see the anxiety and the nervousness growing both in the markets and in corporate boardrooms. It's going to be a rough 2 months for the U.S. economy.
The abrupt resignation of CIA Director David Petraeus is being felt throughout Washington. NBC News is reporting personal emails between Petraeus and biographer Paula Broadwell came to light after anonymous emails were sent to another woman who worked for the State Department. The general is not under investigation, but his departure does leave a void just as Congress is beginning hearings into the deadly September attack on the U.S. diplomatic mission in Benghazi, Libya.
I don't see how in the world you can find out what happened in Benghazi before, during, and after the attack if General Petraeus doesn't testify.
NBC News has learned that General Petraeus conducted his own investigation into the attack that killed 4 Americans, and top lawmakers say they want to know what Petraeus knows. If the general does testify this week, it would be as a civilian. Well, it is hard to go without power for just 1 hour. Imagine what it would be like for 2 weeks. That's the case for some along the East Coast. What FEMA is doing to help them out. Plus, a plunge in sales for fast food giant McDonald's. Is it a sign that people are paying more attention to what they're eating? We will break it down ahead. And a franchise record for the latest Bond movie, your weekend top flicks. Ahead on News 3 at 11. Tomorrow marks exactly 2 weeks since Sandy slammed the Northeast, wiping out thousands of homes and leaving families with nowhere to go. Today, Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano returned to Staten Island for the second time since Sandy struck. More than 4,000 people in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut have been displaced. FEMA is now helping to pay for temporary housing and says more than 369,000 people have applied for individual assistance so far. Some of the organizations that have helped to rebuild communities in Haiti and New Orleans say long-term needs for Sandy victims are just as great. People all over the country, including right here in the Valley, are extending a helping hand to those impacted by Hurricane Sandy. One local man is spearheading an effort by gathering donated items from locals and businesses to send to the East Coast. UPS has said that they would offer a discount to ship those items, so he has packed them all up and they are ready to be sent now to hurricane victims in Staten Island.
I cannot believe the outpouring of the people here in Nevada who want to give to the people in the East Coast. They see it on the news every day, how hard they're having it.
The American Red Cross is taking financial donations to help the hurricane victims as well, and we have information on how you can donate at the links section of our website. Just head to mynews3.com. Well, if you missed your chance last week to help shape the future of Maryland Parkway, don't worry, you will get 2 more chances in the next few days. Tom Hawley has that and more with your week ahead in traffic.
The length of Maryland extends from just south of Cashman Field in the north to St. Rose in the south, with a break in the middle. The core area we're talking about is roughly 7 miles from McCarran Airport to downtown. This includes several different neighborhoods with commercial, residential, and varying volumes of vehicular and pedestrian traffic, as well as the 109 bus line. So the Regional Transportation Commission wants to come up with a comprehensive grab bag of improvements. Step 1 is a study, and your input is invited to get the ball rolling. The first meeting is over, but you have 2 more shots. On Tuesday, the Regional Transportation Commission sets up shop at John C. Fremont Middle School. That's on St. Louis at Maryland Parkway from 5 to 7 p.m. Then one last meeting takes place on Wednesday. It's at the Bonneville Transit Center downtown on Bonneville, 2 blocks east of Main. This one is from 4:30 to 6:30. This is just the start of a long process, so don't expect to see any changes for a couple of years. And as long as we're downtown, let's move a few blocks to the north, where Ogden Avenue has started a rebuild from Las Vegas Boulevard all the way down to 11th Street. This is not a simple resurfacing either. This is an old street with trouble down deep, so crews are digging up the underlying base aggregate as well as the asphalt on top. This means bringing Ogden down to a single lane each direction. For now, Stewart and Fremont are the best alternates. This should wrap up by mid-January. And some good news is on the horizon, and I hope to talk more about completion of the US 95 Northwest widening in your next week ahead in traffic.
Coming up, NASCAR will crown a Sprint Cup champion next weekend, but you would have thought the title was up for grabs today as tempers flared. Randy's in next with sports.
I hear blueberries are supposed to be really good for you.
They are. The health benefits are really phenomenal, but as a result,
They're now popping up in all kinds of prepackaged foods. We team up with Consumer Reports. Not everything blue is a blueberry. We cracked this case Monday morning.
All right, a week and a half ago, there was speculation Chargers coach Norv Turner would be fired if his team did not beat Kansas City on a Thursday night. Well, they hammered Kansas City, so his job was safe, right? Well, not so fast. Chicago had 10 days to prepare for a road trip to Tampa Bay, and the Bolts are right back to their lackadaisical ways. Phillip Rivers did start the day off good. First drive, Denario Alexander sheds a few tacklers. He's gone for an 80-yard touchdown score, and it was an early lead for the Chargers. They opened up a 10-point lead when Phillip Rivers found Antonio Gates in the end zone, 17-7, but they would lose that lead in the second half, and then in the fourth, down by 3, Rivers trying to make something happen. Instead, he makes something happen for the other team. Leonard Johnson picks it off for a pick 6. The Chargers fall to 4-5 as they lose by 10. Meanwhile, the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning starting to run away with the division thanks to the Chargers' losses. They were at Carolina today. Panthers scored the first 7. Broncos scored the next 6 times. Peyton Manning to a wide-open Brandon Stokely. Then Carolina's special teams letting them down. Trendon Holiday takes the punt and takes the Broncos back into the end zone on a 76-yard score. A little bit later, Cam Newton would hand some early presence, throws this one right to Denver Bronco defensive back Tony Carter. That's a pick 6. Denver is now 6-3 with another impressive win. The Vikings and Lions today in the Metrodome. Minnesota running back Adrian Peterson had another big day, but first, pick it up, fourth quarter. Vikings up 6. Christian Ponder makes a nice little pass to Kyle Rudolph. He scores. Vikings up 24-10, but the Lions cut into that lead 24-17. The Vikings needed some breathing room, and guess who? AP Peterson, with his bad knee and all, goes over the 1,000-yard rushing mark for the 5th time in his career, has 171 yards and a touchdown, 61-yarder right there. The Vikings win by 10. Coming up on Sports Night, we'll show you the rest of the NFL scores and highlights from today. Also, UNLV basketball tips off for real tomorrow night. The Rebels will be back at the Thomas and Mack. The San Diego State Aztecs tipped off against Syracuse tonight. We'll show you those highlights, and the Lakers and Kings. Lakers in their second game without a head coach, interim Bernie Bickerstaff, on the floor. Other football now. Major League Soccer Eastern Conference Final between the Houston Dynamo and DC United. 68th minute, game tied at 1. Houston's Giles Barnes with the nice shot there, puts it past the goalie for DC, and the Dynamo led 2-1. Then some insurance for Houston. Coffee Sarkodie with the nice shot here, and that puts it into the back of the net, and it would be all Houston 3-1. They take the first game of the best of 3. LA Galaxy also won over Seattle Sounders. They're defending champs in their first game. And chase race number 9 in Phoenix. Everyone trying to catch Jimmy Johnson. Brad Keselowski was the closest. Ryan Newman's Army car honoring veterans on Veterans Day today. Kyle Busch started on the pole, led with 80 laps to go till Keselowski passes Busch. Kevin Harvick, though, would take the checkered flag at the end, but look at the pileup at the back. Danica Patrick, Keselowski, Kurt Busch, all involved. But the big story was Keselowski takes over the points lead over Jimmy Johnson by 20 with 1 race to go. But fisticuffs between Jeff Gordon and Clint Bowyer in the pits after the race, because Jeff Gordon took out Bowyer. He was not happy with some of the driving that was going on there. Wait till you see on Sports Night the comments, the fights, everything going. Looked like the old Dale Earnhardt Sr. back in the old days, throwing some fists.
Oh, man. Some of those traditions just don't die, do they?
I'll show you all on Sports Night.
Okay, sounds good. Randy, thanks. Appreciate it. Still ahead on News 3 at 11, why some may be spending less time filling up on fast food these days. And James Bond goes head-to-head with Disney's new animated movie this weekend. We'll let you know who claimed the #1 spot. That's next on News 3 at 11. Shockwaves in the fast food world as McDonald's monthly sales fell for the first time in more than 9 years. Just a momentary drop, or could it be a sign of things to come? NBC's Bob Hansen takes a look.
A burger, Coke, and fries. It's been a McDonald's classic lunchtime meal for more than 50 years. But are people spending less time filling up on fast food?
Do you buy fast food as much, more, or less than you used to?
A lot less.
Do you eat fast food as much as you used to?
Yeah.
Probably less just because of the health factor.
In October, sales at McDonald's went down for the first time since April of 2003. Profits have also had a recent tumble. So has the fast food giant lost its way?
I mean, when we were little, McDonald's was the place to go. And for little kids, I think it still is. But when you start to become a teenager, there's a lot more options out there.
Some of those options are fast casual restaurants and other high-end rivals. But there's also aggressive fast food competitors offering revamped menus and marketing campaigns.
At McDonald's, it's still the Big Mac. It's still the fries. And there's nothing new to go in there and get.
There was a time we could recite the McDonald's commercials and jingles, but is that the case anymore? Has McDonald's gone stale?
Years ago, you looked at McDonald's and I would go to class and show their ads and say, look, these are great commercials. And when's the last time you even you can remember seeing a McDonald's commercial? They just don't have any impact anymore.
Marketing professor Michael Belch says McDonald's needs more product innovation and clever advertising. Another thing that may be hurting, the fact that last year McDonald's started posting calorie counts on its menu boards.
Some of the other places, as far as like health-wise, I would say offer a bit bigger variety.
But don't count out the Golden Arches just yet. Its popular pork sandwich McRib returns in December. Potential success delivered on a plastic tray.
Gotta admit, I'm still a fan. Still go there. That was Bob Hansen reporting on the health eating front. Some say Subway's successful ad campaign seems to have drawn away fast food customers as well. Restaurants such as Chipotle and Panera, which offer a more expensive and higher-end menu, also seem to be making a dent in the fast food casual market. Jerry Brown says he never eats fast food, almost never, right?
Well, God, it's been a couple of decades since I've been in a McDonald's. But
really, that long?
Yeah, it's been a while.
You don't know what you're missing. I mean, McDonald's is great. You just can't eat it all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I saw that. What was that film, Super Size Me?
Oh,
I saw that, and then let's
Pure propaganda.
All right, let's go talk about the weather. Nothing supersized about this. We're pretty much in a rut now, but it's a nice rut. We're getting on a warming trend. 43 degrees right now. Well, it feels like 38 if you factor in the winds, but the winds will be light by morning, and as they diminish, our temperatures will drop. You can see our skies are clear. There is some moisture to talk about. We'll look at that on Doppler radar. Here's the big picture, the satellite shot. You can see the big pool of cool air out behind this frontal system. Jet stream making a big loop over high pressure. That's going to gradually warm us up. We were 54 today. We're talking about 70 degrees. Doesn't that sound nice? 70 with some sunshine. By, say, Thursday, as this big storm up in the Gulf of Alaska will stay for the most part to our north. Now, cold air coming in on the backside of a front. You can see the snow moving in over the Dakotas and into northern Minnesota. A lot of rain. We've been looking at that in our earlier broadcast along the mid-Mississippi Valley and now south of St. Louis, some thunderstorm activities. That's one area of precipitation. Another one just up to our north, say Puget Sound and into the Cascade Mountains of Oregon, Washington. You can see the snow there. But again, jet stream will conduct that away from us. But again, the pool of very, very cold air. And that, of course, was battleground the front as it runs into some milder stuff over the southeast. Our overnight lows sub-freezing barely in Pahrump at 31, 37 in Boulder City, a chilly 19 up at Caliente. Tonopah, you're looking at 52 tomorrow. Reading Caliente, 55 in Searchlight, and 64, that sounds nice, in Mesquite. 36 for us overnight with clear skies. A chilly evening. Our normal is 48. Tomorrow, though, remember 54 today, 59 tomorrow. I think you'll notice the difference, but we're still way below normal. Here's the good news, though. 59 tomorrow, 66 on Tuesday, up at a couple of degrees on Wednesday, 70 on Thursday, and then a couple of degrees down into Saturday and Sunday, but hey, 70 by Sunday. Next weekend looks spectacular, Gerard, and the work week not going to be too tough to take. We did have that cold shot yesterday and today, but we're on a roll after that.
Yeah, no complaints with the 7-day that looks like that.
These days we'll go out and try a Big Mac.
Okay.
One of these days.
Right down the street, right around the corner.
That's right, yeah.
All right. Thanks, Jerry. Well, from prostitutes to drug dealers, city leaders say a local motel has been attracting the wrong kind of customers. Now, owners of the Oasis Motel are fighting to get their business license back. News 3's Denise Rosh takes a look at what's being done to get the property reopened.
The owner of the Oasis tells me he understands the city's concerns and is certainly working on solutions, but for now, his business remains closed a full week and a half since the license was pulled. Now, city leaders have said that the motel had persistent problems from prostitution to drugs. But the owner, Peter Napoli, says once a person checks in, he really has no idea what's going on behind closed doors. Still, he is making changes. An electric gate will be installed up front to better control the flow of people in and out of the parking lot. And he also plans to put up better fencing around back to keep people from jumping over.
I almost call them like maybe cockroaches. They come out at nighttime. See, I'm not here at nighttime. Father, he's here, but he's resting like that. But at night times when they seem to come out and I'm not here, or we're not here, and that's when it seems to happen.
The proprietors of businesses have to be engaged with the business. They have to have a stake in the community that they're in. They have to look past the cash register and see just exactly what their business operation is doing and how it impacts the area that they're in.
Now, the owners have already appealed the city's decision to have them shut down, but one way or another, they hope to have the business back open by January. Denise Rosh, News 3.
Mr. Bond set a franchise record in its opening weekend in North America. The 23rd James Bond movie, Skyfall, took in $87.8 million to dominate the box office. Since its release overseas in October, the thriller starring Daniel Craig has earned more than $500 million. Wreck-It Ralph, meantime, an animated movie about a video game villain, took the second spot with $33.1 million. Flight, starring Denzel Washington, came in third with $15.1 million. We'll be right back after this.
Owned and operated by Nevada high school graduates. We are Nevada's information network.